What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, I'd like to get into Aaron Glenn speaking with the media, and Woody Johnson speaks as well, and guess what? He still, unfortunately, does not get it. Earlier this morning, Aaron Glenn spoke with the media, and I wanted to share some of my favorite quotes from Aaron Glenn from earlier today. We will start with Aaron Glenn saying that Garrett Wilson is in a good spot going into 2025.
Spend time with Garrett yet at all?
Yes, I have.
He seemed unhappy last year at times. Did you get a sense that he wants to be a Jet? He's happy here. He's excited about the season.
Well, I wasn't here last year, so I don't care. I know right now, to have a lot of good conversation. That's all I care about.
He seems like he's in a good place when you talk to him.
Yeah, he's in a good place. So, I don't care what happened last year.
No, I got you.
I think it was Brian Costello who asked the question, and he put him into fucking pretzel, dude. Oh my God. I don't care about last year. I wasn't here. Was so good. Look, we're not going to know if Aaron Glenn is a good coach until the games come. And yes, it's April, or not even April yet. Technically, it's the last day of March, and there's still a long way to go before the regular season and before he actually coaches a game for this football team. But I really like how he handles himself. It's very different than Robert Saleh, and I know, it seems like in past Jets history, you go from one extreme to another in a coaching style. Yes, technically, if you look at it, Aaron Glenn and Robert Saleh, both first-time head coaches that were defensive coordinators, that's a similarity, but I think that's where the similarity ends. Their approach is very, very different to how they present themselves in front of the media and the kind of image that they present. Aaron Glenn also spoke about keeping players that they draft. I would think this bodes well for both Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner.
Man, I'm in the business of keeping good players. And, that's our plan. And that's with anybody, just like Sherwood. And just like any other player that we draft in this team. I want to make it a trend that our guys that we draft, that we try to keep them here. And I don't know if that had happened before. All right, but I know when I was a player here, we try to do that as much as possible. And to me, that's the best form of free agency, really, is signing your own guys. So as much as we can do that, we're going to try to. So it's something that we want to look at. We want to keep those guys, so they're good players. So I'm in the business of keeping good players.
Look, yesterday it was stated from the New York Jets general manager Darren Muji that the Jets will not be extending Garrett Wilson or Sauce Gardner before the NFL draft. It's likely to happen post-draft, which, we're just a few weeks away at that point. Something would have to move kind of quickly here. But that is the news that we got yesterday from the GM. Glenn talking about, keeping young and talented players. That seems to fit the bill for Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. He referenced Jamie Sherwood as a young player that the Jets drafted, an ascending player. They are focusing on keeping their young talent. And Aaron Glenn said at another point during this press conference that, it's a young man's game. And that's mostly the approach that the Jets have taken so far in this free agency period. Last quote from Aaron Glenn on the Jets moving in silence. This was the plan all along.
On the radar, kind of quiet. How do you like that? Is that by design? Is that the kind of way you want things to work?
It is by design. And listen, I'm a huge believer in just moving in silence and, letting things play out like they need to play out. I think our staff has done a really good job of that. Just overall let's just make the moves we need to make. Listen, this doesn't need to be a big hoopla of what we're doing. We just want to go about our business and coach these players and try to create an atmosphere for the players that's totally different, probably what they've been used to. And that's something I want to create just in general, of what type of players that we bring into the building, in the building environment for the most part. So, but you're right. I want to move in silence, man, and listen, just go about our business to go win some games, because you don't win in the offseason anyway. I know everybody has these grades on free agency grades. They have grades on draft grades. And when you go back and look at them, they don't really mean crap, So the only thing that makes the difference is what you do during the season.
Not a surprise to see Aaron Glenn come on and say that it was their plan. It's, again, very different from how the last regime was. They were very leaky. This isn't a very leaky building anymore for the New York Jets. And I kind of, again, I like the approach they're taking. We don't know if it's going to work. You still have to wait around and see if that is the plan that's going to come to fruition here and if it's going to work out. But I do like the approach that they're taking, and they're not trying to win the offseason. They're just trying to put themselves in a position to be a good football team for multiple years, and I hope that this regime can get them there. Last thing for me today is on Woody Johnson, who also answered some questions from the media. He was asked about his thoughts on receiving an F grade in the NFLPA survey, and his response: my first thought was it's totally bogus. Winning cures all, and if the Jets find ways to win football games, I don't think you're going to see Woody Johnson as the worst owner in the NFL receiving F grades. But the guy just doesn't help himself. Every time he opens his mouth, he digs himself a deeper hole. Thought it was totally bogus. You can't possibly see, you can't fathom a reason why you might not be very favorable amongst the NFL Players Association. There's nothing that crosses your mind. I'm asking for a little bit of self-awareness here, and some self-awareness of, hiring the right people and getting out of the way. That's step one. I hope he sticks true to that and lets Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn run the show and stay the hell out of the way. Put the Jets players, staff, fans in a position to have success. Make sure that the facilities are up to par. It's not going to kill you to invest in some of the other areas of this organization. It's not just about paying players. It's about keeping the facilities to a certain standard, having the food be at a certain standard, treating the players' families at a certain level. All that stuff matters to teams. The travel, where do you stay? What hotels are you staying at? This is little shit, but it matters. It matters. Yes, getting the right guys in here and winning football games is obviously the most important. That's not, no one's going to debate that. That's not what I'm saying here. Don't focus on that. Obviously, you focus on that. But it also matters how you run your organization from top to bottom. And I implore Woody Johnson to please take a look in the mirror and self-reflect and maybe let yourself realize, my team has the longest active playoff drought in North American sports. Maybe I could change how I'm doing things here because clearly it's not working. Just a thought. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe if you are new. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary, and I will catch you next time.